Maverick 100.9 Aggie Land's country alternative. It's Corliss. And I have a very special guest today that's a little out of our norm. Brian Falduto is here, and we would recognize him mostly as our favorite character from the movie School of Rock, Billy. But Brian is here. Hi, Brian.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm wonderful. I am so excited to get to know you. And this purely happened by accident. You popped up on my For You page, which of course you did, because I love anything Jack Black, country music, Pride, you name it. So you came out with a country song, and I have so many questions just aching in me. But first, I wanted to tell you what Maverick was all about. So the word Maverick means you're out of the box. You could be seen as a rebel or a little different. And so we created this radio station for the people that were kind of fed up with the nationally recognized country music. And for that, you do fit into our box. So I want to come right out and just start talking about the music. First of all, have you always wanted to be a country singer?
Yeah, given the description of Maverick, yeah, count me in. Yeah, I mean, I've always loved country music. My first album was Faith Hill, and I grew up listening to country music. And then I think when Carrie Underwood won American Idol, that's when I really because I was a big Idol fan. So that's when I really gravitated over. And then I learned about the Chicks and Zach Brown Band and Rascal Flatts and Shania and Tim McGraw and Jody Messina. And yeah, I was hooked ever since. And then I worked in country radio out of college. So
No way.
Yeah, Nash FM. I don't know if you're familiar with.
I'm very familiar.
Yeah. So I did that for 4 years, and then I started writing music, and now I've been doing the music thing, that side of the game, and I love it.
Now, we are seeing a ton of inclusivity in country music right now to an extent. Obviously, TJ Osborne would be the most notable one, and everybody's embracing him like it's a big deal. And it is. But he is still writing songs for people like me, someone like me with a husband and yada, yada, yada. So now you have released the same old country love song. And it literally is, you've even got an old school country sound to you that is so raw and so real. But lyrically, you're calling out country music. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think there's a lot of cool things happening in country music. Country music has become this umbrella term, right? And there's all these different lanes that you can exist in, especially with streaming. There's lanes open that don't need the permission of mainstream radio anymore, such as your radio station, which is exciting. And so I love all the sounds that are emerging. There's all these cool new sounds and concepts and ideas. But I grew up on 90s country, and I want to hear the sound that I grew up with, but turned gay, essentially. I when I grew up, I hated having to search for myself in these songs, and I was always wondering, why can't, in the middle of the latest Jody Messina and Tim McGraw hits, why can't there be a song that normalizes who I am rather than me having to search for it? And so this song it's fun, it's playful, but it's also earnest, and it does in a way call out country music for just not, because even those who are sort of, as you mentioned, TJ Osborne, for example, they're still writing for the mainstream format to a degree. And so I wanted to just be really bold about, this is queer country.
I'm all in for queer country. I mean, I genuinely believe the song is great. I really, really do. And it doesn't make me feel any type of way. It doesn't make me feel left out. Because all the country songs in the world are written for me. And I think that country music should be enjoyed by everyone. Once again, we keep going back to my creation of Maverick. And it's just not fair to leave anyone hanging, not when there's beautiful songwriters and performers and singers. And this is not something new to you. I've even read articles about you, like after filming School of Rock and then having to go back into the real world as literally with this huge label that says, I'm a gay kid at such a young age. I don't know if maybe music helped you through that, or what even brought you to the very outgoing person about it that you are today.
Yeah, it was definitely hard back. This was back in 2003, right? So there wasn't a lot of LGBTQ representation whatsoever. It was like me, Will and Grace, and like Ellen, right? So
Right.
I was just like 10, and I didn't really even know what being gay meant, other than that it was meant to be insulting. So I just kind of like shut it down, and I started that like a lot of like internal homophobia and denial. I didn't actually end up coming out until my senior year of college, and I was in my first like queer relationship while I was working at the radio station, and country music was actually really like speaking to me, because there's a lot of breakup songs, and like there were songs where I was like, wow, I'm really finding myself in these lyrics, because that relationship ended while I was working there, and I was going through a lot of heartache, and country music's all about heartache and storytelling. But I as an experiment one night, I just like whipped out my guitar and I tried to write. I was in so much like emotional pain that I just tried to like voice that pain, and then I ended up like sharing it with a friend, and it was a really connective experience. And then I shared it with a room full of friends, and then I sort of that experience of pulling something out of you that you've never shared with anyone, and then sharing it via the vehicle of a song, which is sort of like it kind of hides the vulnerability of it in a way. And then like having other people validate that and be like, oh my gosh, me too, I had that same experience. It's a really fulfilling process, and so that's kind of why I became hooked on being a songwriter. So yeah, music did kind of help me find my voice in that way.
I'm so glad to hear that. I preach it constantly. Music heals, period. It is the best medicine that's out there. Whenever you're lost, you can find something somewhere. And there's people like Brian, there's people like myself that are always here, no matter who you are or identify as, or whatever has made you feel lost, you're going to be found by someone. And that's always such a comforting feeling. I'm truly a believer that there's more good in the world than there is bad. You just gotta weigh it out. Seriously, go to a silent place in your mind, weigh it out. There's a ton of good. So on to more good. You've also got a new album that goes along with the new single, just very plainly put, gay country. What is something we can look forward to on that album?
Oh, it's a lot of that 90s sound, that early 2000s sound. It's a lot of it's mostly like upbeat songs that you can bop along to. There's one kind of really sad song on there that's it's about in country music there's a lot of songs about how great your hometown is, and sometimes if you're queer that's not the experience. So this is a song for those of us whose home didn't feel like a home at times. And yeah, I mean, basically the whole album is just trying to take tropes like that and turn them on their head, in a really playful and cheeky way, not sort of taking away from anything that's been written, but just adding to it, like adding my story to that same concept, to that same theme, to that same idea.
Well, I love your sense of humor in all of it. And it is okay to poke fun at ourselves or other people, especially when you're spreading such a good message. And I appreciate that from you. How about acting? Any more acting or radio in your future?
I don't know. Well, I never say no, but I'm not actively pursuing it at the moment. If anyone's listening and wants to cast me in something, yeah, they can certainly pitch me, but it's a different hustle, and I enjoy the music hustle more. I feel like I have more autonomy over what I get to say and what I get to create versus the acting lane. But I still love acting. And yeah, I really appreciate this time to share about the project, and I appreciate the platform that you've created.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad you're seeing it for what it is, because we're I'm awfully proud of it. Just a weird little girl from Kansas with big ideas had to put all that creativity somewhere, and I just wanted it to go to help others. So I'm so excited that I got to meet you and get to learn more about who you are as a person. And in true nostalgia form, I totally have to watch School of Rock tonight because Jack Black is definitely the love of my life. But you may be the second love of my life. I'm not going to lie to you.
Thank, thank you very much.
Please go get Gay Country now. Get his new album. That's Brian Falduto. I think I'm saying that correctly with the Italian accent. And
Falduto.
if you're ever touring, honey, you call me. I will be there front row.
You got it. Next time I'm in Texas, I'll let you know. You're in Texas, right?
That's right.
All right. I'll let you know.